here. That's important.
Choline.
Hi, everyone. I'm Meg Oliver. We're getting breaking news into the newsroom. Here's the latest.
Sheriff Chris West, our Chief of Police Ken Brown, and our Fire Chief Kit McGauley and Clay with Pafford. Basically, these are the groups that we've been coordinating on the ground to try to work along with Canadian County. Andrew has done a great job back and forth. I will tell you right now, we've gone through a lot of over our years as service. We've gone through a lot of things together with a lot of these people in this room, and I'm telling you right now, these are outstanding men and women in order to make things work, and it really worked well last night because of one thing, and that's partnership. We could not have done it without the El Reno Fire Department, El Reno Police Department, Public Works, Sheriff's Department, St. Anthony's, Pafford, and all the employees and people that helped us. We had a lot of agencies that came in. Chief, is that correct? That's correct. We're from Elk City to Hydro to Union City to Tuttle to everywhere else. So we really appreciate all the first responders. In saying that, what we're trying to do right now is we're asking everybody to stay away from the scene as much as we can. Those first responders are out there doing their job right now. They're all trained professionals. We have some things that we're going to share with you that we're doing back and forth. So we're trying to kind of keep the traffic area down at that point in time. We transported 16 from the scene. 13 private vehicle transfers on top of that. Those were all from minor to critical condition. We have absolutely had 2 fatalities. The medical examiner will take care of the notifications, and they're doing that right now. They're on the scene. They have been on the scene for some time, and they're notifying all those. You know, I want to make sure that everybody's, and all the reporters ask, you know, are we still doing search rescue? Yes, we are. Through the assistance of law enforcement, Sheriff, Chief Brown, and Chief Legale, they made the right call. We called in basically USAR, that's the Urban Search and Rescue Team, and they're going to set up a grid. They're going to start at the trailer park area edge and work through that area to make sure that we're got all the numbers. We absolutely have confirmed that all of the people from the hotel, motel, they're all accounted for at this point in time. So we're just concerned with making sure that we don't, there's some communication problems that we're having back and forth. So we're trying to bring in translators. We've done that. We're going through that process. We're also interviewing certain people to make sure that we got the right information at that point in time. Sheriff, Chief, is that right? So we're trying to get that done, and we really appreciate all their help that we've been doing with that. Highway 81 will be closed probably for the rest of the day. We're in contact with ODOT. I've been in contact with Brian Taylor, been in contact with Tim Gatz. And I've absolutely been in contact with Tommy Overhoster, who's an El Reno boy. He's helped us out a bunch and their whole team. So we're going to close that down. We're going to try to open that back up by 5 o'clock, by dark. Let's just say by dark. Our goal is as early as possible, but by dark is what our goal ultimately would be. So we're going to try to open that up. Basically, Noah's on the ground right now. Rick Smith, and I know Rick and Kent work closely together with Noah and the National Weather Service of Norman. He's here. Rick's been here with Kent. They're assessing everything right now. They have not categorized this as a tornado, what size tornado it is. From what the talks we've talked about, I think it was safe to say it's, a 2 or 3 is what we think. Now, once again, it's not. We have not classified that. Noah will do that at that point in time, but that's what we kind of consider. We just cannot do it without all the help and partners we've had. I cannot say these men and women have absolutely stepped in and took this tragedy that we've had here in El Reno, Oklahoma, and shown and proved their loyalty to their citizens, to their people, and these people are displaced. It's very decimated. It's a tragic scene out there. It's terrible. We're going to work through that process. It's going to take us time to do that, and we'll work through there. If you can, please do not call 911. We want to stay away from that. If you can, call the 262-6941 number. That's a non-emergency number at that point in time. Or you can contact us with questions on our website or our Facebook. Allie and I will try to answer those the best we can back and forth. Trying to think what else that we need to talk about. Basically, we think it's a 2-mile path. It started at Slumberjay, which is just the other side south of I-40, came across and went all the way to the Fort Reno trailer park. And then I was up in a helicopter earlier this morning. You ought to see the debris. It's further than that, Chief. It's at least 3 or 4 miles wide on it. So pray for the families. People have absolutely lost everything. You're not going to believe the devastation. You've seen some of the pictures of those poor families that were in that trailer house. On the issue of transportation to those people to the hospital, we said from minor to basically critical. People are still in surgery right now as we speak. And there is absolutely, we need to pray for those people. There's some absolutely major issues at this point in time. Pray for our citizens. El Reno is a resilient community. We've been through this before with our experience. We just have come off a flood the last week. It's been very trying for us and our community. But I'm going to tell you, the people of El Reno are the strongest people I've ever met in Oklahoma. I'm not just saying it because I'm a 4th generation El Renoite. We're caring, we're kind, and it's a very trying time for us. Excuse me. And we're going to get through it. But please, with your prayers and your thoughts, be in constant communication with us. We've set up a shelter and Red Cross is on the ground. We really appreciate Red Cross. They've been not only helping with the first responders, but they set up shop at the VFW. Once again, the VFW, along with everybody else in our community, with the Ministerial Alliance, have been in contact with them. Everybody's putting their foot forward in order to make this. We're a family here in El Reno. We're a community, but more important than that, we're a tight-knit group. I mean, El Reno, we about know everybody that we went to school with, and everything else. So it's important that we do that. So I can't thank enough for the sheriff for his backup, and Pafford and St. Anthony's and all the other entities that came in. But I will tell you, I'm so proud of El Reno's team. We have absolutely the best men and women working for the city of El Reno, and we could not do it without the fire department, police department, public works. So we just, everybody has absolutely been inundated with all these problems last week. We've stepped in foot forward and just hit the ground running. So at that point in time, I think I've covered everything, Chief. Can't think of anything else, Chief?
Not off the top of my head.
We'll go ahead and open up questions. Yes, sir.
Do you have an idea of how many people are thought to be missing, or is there a number of people that are still sort of unaccounted for?
Well, and we keep on saying the word accounted for. I think that's your word, not ours. What we're trying to do, basically, is get the information. There is a language barrier with the Hispanic group. We're trying to make sure that we get the proper information of where they are. We think one thing, we want to confirm that before we do anything, and we think the grid search will accomplish that and help us have a better thought process to finish out our job to complete our search at that point in time. That's the main thing. Yes, ma'am.
Just to be clear, you said 16 transported minor to critical injuries. Did you say something about 13 in a private transfer in addition to those 16 and the 2 that hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
So the total count of people affected at this time?
Well, of injured would be that total amount of 29 total. And then we also have a whole ballroom full of displaced people at the VFW that have been displaced from their homes because they can't go back in there because the grid's been shut down on the power and everything else. So there's several 100 people affected by this on the other side of that. So, yes, ma'am.
So that means there are 29 in the hospital right now?
Basically, well, all we can confirm to you, some of those at this point in time, we want to make sure we're clear that we're not giving you false information. We're telling you what was transported at that point in time. That was anywhere from 10:30 that night to 2 o'clock in the morning, what we were gathering those numbers to right now. So I'm just telling you what we've accomplished at that point in time with the numbers we've got. Those could have been released at this point in time, and we do know for a fact that they are having surgery currently on certain people right now as we speak at OU Medical.
Do you have identities of the deceased?
I'm sorry?
Do you have the names of the dead?
No, we don't.
We do not have those. That's what I was going to tell you. We do not have those. The ME's on site. Emmy, the medical examiner, will handle that situation. We're not handling that. They're handling that through their office. We want to make sure that they're all notified. And once again, we want to make sure that, that the communication is handled through the proper channels.
Mayor, I just want to clarify, you said the folks were in the hotel motel have been accounted for, right? I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
The folks in the hotel motel have been accounted for. Yes, we had talked to the manager and got some paperwork at that point in time. And once again, through the police work and from everything else we did in communication, we confirmed that. And we wanted to make sure we confirmed that to you. We heard that morning, but we want to make sure you had proper information before we did that. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to be clear, from those that were injured and those that did not make it, where were those people found in the path of the tornado? Was it all at the mobile home park, or was it at different locations in Reno?
No, the main concentrate of this tornado was in that area, basically, that we're talking about. The tornado started on the other side of I-40, took out some structures, some roofs and some signs, but the main concentrate was right there at the basically Diffie, Rick Jones, absolutely the mobile home park and the hotel, and then went across 81 Highway and across 66 Highway on up. So, that's kind of where everything was concentrated at that point in time.
What time did the storm strike, and how long was it on the ground?
Once again, Noah's here right now. Rick Smith's determining all that. Rick and Kent have already drove out. They're trying to get the information together. They've interviewed people. They're currently interviewing people right now. Rick's out on the ground right now to determine that. We'll have that information as all the data comes in. Yes, sir.
Yes, this regards the language barrier of the people that are being searched and checked on, and trying to figure out who those people are. Are there people afraid to talk to the authorities because they don't speak the language, or because of a negative atmosphere regarding immigration and that kind of thing?
No, I don't know. Let's not turn that in. The bottom line is this. Sometimes they use different names, and one family member might call someone for a different name. We're getting different information, and we want to make sure that name or that person, that tangible person that we've talked to, that we are looking for, or who's been discovered or talking to, that we know exactly who we're talking about at that point in time. Is that correct, Chief?
They don't need to be afraid to come to the court.
Absolutely don't be afraid. No, absolutely not. No, they don't need to be afraid of anything. We're not here. This is, this community is brokenhearted. We're hurt. Absolutely been devastated. Several families have been put out of their home. We absolutely don't care anything about that except everybody's safety and well-being, and to make sure that we get help and everybody's accounted for. Absolutely not. And I know these gentlemen, and I've known these gentlemen all my life, and the sheriff, we are absolutely, all of us are on the same page. We want to make sure everybody's safe. That's their sworn duty, and I absolutely. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Just to be clear, I know that you had told the public to stay clear of the area where the tornado went through, but there are still many others that are wanting to help the victims at the DFW. They're free to come off and drop off donations there, correct?
Sure, they are, and that's a good point. We want to make sure, I want to leave that kind of, we've set up a GoFundMe account, and we'll give that to you. We're going to share that on our Facebook page and our social media. Everything else, we just set the limit at $1,000. We say it's going to be over that. We've had a lot of oil companies that want to donate, that want to be a part of that. We want that. I think it's one of those things that, we've got so much water and different things over the last period of time. I think people want to help, and we want their help. We want them to be able to help, and we want to be able to get that money in the right position. These people have lost everything they had. But I think the key part of it is that really we're kind of asking for monetary money at this point in time, just because it'd be easier to get their needs that we don't know about. And I will tell you, Chief Legali and Pafford worked, these instances where we had to get medication and everything else. They worked through Pafford and Chief Legali and the people at the VFW designated and St. Anthony's. So they got them the medication they need, because all that's gone now. All their blood pressure medicine, all their insulin, and some other things. So those are the things that we need to do. So what we've done is we've set up a GoFundMe account, and it's the City of El Reno Tornado Relief. It has a picture of our water tower on there, and we'll put that on our deal. If you'd like to help, we were going to absolutely get that money to those people that have been affected by the tornado.
Can you talk briefly about the mental and physical endurance of your first responders in this town and what it's like working around the clock like this to rescue and the heart that takes?
I probably can't because I'll probably get emotional, but I'm going to try, and I'm going to tell you, these guys have been working their tail off now. I mean, we've gone through situation after situation after situation, and they have gone nonstop. During the flooding, they had over 40-something boat rescues. The sheriff has absolutely pitched in. We've got everybody spread out all over the world on this deal. And then this tornado happens. The thing about El Reno is we are more than a community. We are a family. And I think it's a proven fact of the things that we've done in the past. We're going to overcome this. It's so devastating to see the loss out there and to do that. I mean, I was on the scene with Chief Brown and I were clearing, we were on the two-man team clearing the rooms along with Sheriff West people right behind us. I mean, it's an all hands on deck situation. Our firefighters, our police officers, and even our public works were right out there clearing the electrical lines. These men and women are outstanding in everything that's thrown at us. These guys, men and women, have taken that challenge and risked their own lives on that two-story motel and risked their own lives on picking up absolutely walls of debris to make sure that there's nobody underneath there. I mean, I witnessed just a partnership, a true love for helping people. So I'm proud of our guys.
And we are, just so you know, all of our first responders, whether they be public works or anything, we will set up critical incident stress debriefing for all of them as we move forward. Our chaplain's already been in and touched base with some of them, so that's something we're very cognitive of, and we're going to stay on top of.
And we're and along with we're all wore out, we're all tired, and probably a little bit emotional. But it was such a tragedy. But the only thing I can say is that I was so proud of the way that everybody stepped in. Any other questions? I don't think we're going to do one today. I think the main is that's just the information we have at this point in time. We'll probably do a press release at the point in time once we get the grid search done and we're complete with that area and we know that we're safe to say that the final count. I think we'll do a press release at that point in time, and that'll satisfy I think all the questions we can at this point. I think the main thing is what we need to do now is we need to get to work to get that thing cleaned up, stay out of our way so we can get things in and out. We're going to start that process. We're going to start that process with insurance companies and those employees at the car lots and stuff. There's a lot of vehicle damage. There's a lot of damage out there, not near as much as what a life would be, but there's a lot of damage. Any other?
What is the final count?
Well, Steve, it's 16 that we've done moved from the scene. We've transported 16 that we moved from the scene to transport to different hospitals all over. 13 private vehicles transported them, and then also we have 2 fatalities. And those transports totals, Steve, of the 29 would be anywhere from minor to critical condition.
So you transported 29 people, minor to critical?
At some point in time, yes, or was transported. By even private vehicles. All right, any other questions? Well, thank you all so much. It's been a trying time for our community. Once again, if you want to help, go to the GoFundMe page. Our people, we're a family here. We care about our neighbors. We're based on Christian values here. The Ministerial Alliance has reached out to us, and we're family faith. So the main thing is pray for us. And pray for healing in our community, and pray for a quick recovery of the devastation that we've had to come in to. So, Thank you all.